This Tuesday, the President and congressional Democrats met on the South Lawn of the White House to listen to music and celebrate the passage of their massive $740 billion so-called Inflation Reduction Act. I actually refer to it as the Income Reduction Act because it's reducing the income of many hardworking Americans. While President Biden called the IRA the single most important legislation passed in the Congress to combat inflation, and Speaker Pelosi said it was beautifully named for all it does, the stock market was free-falling to its worst day in over 2 years. That morning, the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported an August inflation rate of 8.3%. Put differently, since last August, unchecked Democrat spending, including the IRA, has taken 1 month's income from every American. 8.3%. So every American just lost 1 month of their income. But rather than ironically adding to the very problem it was named to combat, the Inflation Reduction Act ensures energy prices will continue to rise. Mr. Schellenberger, just a couple questions. It's my understanding that by 2050, the need for energy around the globe will increase by about 50%. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And currently, is it correct that we get roughly 60% or maybe a little bit more of our energy from natural gas, oil, coal?
Yes.
Okay. So while we need to increase 50%, there's people that want to eliminate 60% or a little bit more of how we currently get our energy.
Yes, that's correct.
I guess it's going to get a lot more hotter in this building over the upcoming years. We should probably turn off the air conditioning here first, quite frankly, and lead by example. Maybe the President should have led by example and practiced mail-in balloting rather than flying Air Force One and his motorcade to go vote. Or plan to do it when he was on one of his vacation days already in Delaware instead of making a special trip. But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to digress, but in light of the hundreds of billions of dollars invested in the IRA, how viable is an energy agenda that excludes fossil fuels?
Well, we're seeing it play out in my home state of California, where we've done the biggest investments in renewables by far. And we announced on August 25th that we were going to phase out internal combustion engines. And on August 30th, we asked people not to charge their electric cars between 4 and 9 p.m. So we are absolutely not prepared. We came so close to blackouts that they've been burning kerosene and diesel. And by the way, I share the concern with environmental justice expressed here. The kerosene and diesel that they're burning in California is because we weren't burning enough natural gas and because we shut down our nuclear plants.
Well, which has more emissions than the kerosene and diesel or natural gas?
Significantly more emissions from the kerosene and diesel, sir.
I would have thought that, but...
Again, and in terms of the renewables, it's the problem with the energy density. You know, we know that solar and wind projects require 300% more copper, 700% more rare earths. Wind, solar, and batteries require 1,000% more steel, concrete, and glass, 300% more copper, I mentioned, 4,200% more lithium. We're talking significant increase of the material intensity of energy. That is, by definition, going to cause inflation. That is going to make energy more expensive. The reason renewables make electricity expensive is for fundamental physical reasons that cannot be overcome by technological innovation. To give you a sense of it, sir, solar panel efficiencies, the conversion of sunlight to electricity, improved by 2% over the last decade. The reason the Chinese were able to make them so cheap is because they were using basically slave labor of Uyghur Muslims, coal, and they made huge subsidies so that they could bankrupt other solar energy firms around the world. So we're headed down an extremely dangerous path. We see in Europe and around the world, we're going to have hundreds of millions of unnecessary additional deaths from cold, from hunger, and from air pollution because of the war on gas.